So lovely to be here with everybody today. We've had a request today for a slightly longer relaxation, so I'm not going to deny people of that request. So we will have a little bit of a longer relaxation, which is actually really nice to do because this time of year, feel like you want to be hibernating a little bit, didn't you? And just getting that extra little bit of downtime. So we're going to start off as we would normally do. If you want to lie, you can lie. If you want to sit, you can sit. I just want you to be in a position that feels comfortable for the next few minutes while we just take some time to reflect inwards and just check in with how we are and what's going on for us today, what's going on in our worlds. So, as we always do, if you want to lean against something, sit on something, you are more than welcome. If you're lying and you find it useful to put things under you or over you to support the body, then please do. We're going to start to turn our attention inwards. And this turning our attentions inwards in the yoga tradition is called pratyahara. And it's kind of like turning down some of our kind of external senses and becoming more aware of our internal senses. So a really useful thing that can be done is the closing of our eyes, or you might find just gazing at something without your eyes sort of flickering around too much can be a useful way to just start to turn the attentions inwards. And then I'd just like you to check how you've placed the physicality of your body. So just notice if there's anywhere that you feel needs a little bit of a shift or a move, an area of you that might feel a bit tight or might need a bit of extra support. And then begin to turn the attentions in a little bit deeper and just start to become aware of how your body feels today. What information do you need to gather from your body, from your skin, your bones, your organs, your cells, the connective tissues and the fibers of your body? What are they letting you know at this time? Are there areas where your attention feels like it needs to be drawn or focused towards today? And that could be from injuries, that could be from past surgeries, that could just be from the type of week you've had, or maybe a long standing situation that you're aware of within your body realm at this time. Maybe something new that's just sort of arisen in your awareness. So just building this mental picture of the sensations of your body. And know that as we move through this practice today, you can adapt it as much as you need to suit your requirements today. You haven't got to follow what I'm doing or what anyone else is doing here. Allowing yourself to be led by your needs. And I'd like you to turn the attentions to your breath. And just notice how your breath is in this moment. Maybe the breath is feeling slow or fast. Maybe the breath is quite gusty like it is in the environment today. It's quite windy outside, isn't it? Or maybe your breath was quite sort of shallow. Observing where you can feel your breath in your body. And it might be at the places where the breath is entering and leaving the body. It might be around the chest or the back, the abdomen, maybe around the sides of the body. And our breath is very much related to the experience that we have of the energy within our bodies. I'd like you to just notice how you are feeling energetically today. Notice if there's a general sense of how you feel, or where maybe there's, again, specific sort of areas or parts of you where your energy might feel different. And there could be a difference between your mind and your body. There could be a difference between your internal world and your external world. Noting the energy that is within the environment. And I'd invite you to turn the attention to your mind. Just taking a few moments here just to observe how the mind is functioning right in this moment. So noticing if the thoughts that are coming into your mind are fast or slow, whether the thoughts are sticking and staying or whether they just sort of float away. Notice if your mind is very focused in this moment, or whether these more tendencies with the mind to drift into the past or into the future. Maybe your mind is more kind of image focused today. Maybe it's more to do with words or feelings or experiences. And our mind will just constantly change all the time. The same as our bodies, the same as the energy within it and around us. And then I'd like you to allow yourself to acknowledge any mood or emotional states that might be in your awareness at this time. You might experience more than one mood or emotional state at the same time. So just noticing what's present with you today. Then I'd invite you to allow yourself to acknowledge why you've come to this practice today. Your intentions, your wishes, what you'd like to get out of this practice today. And so often we come to these practices with a very kind of set or clear intention about why we might be here. And it's probably stuff that is really important to you. But sometimes as well, it can be really nice to acknowledge that through these practices, they kind of unlock an energy within ourselves that's a little bit more sort of creative or fluid, or allows you to think or react or respond in a slightly different way sometimes to the way that you might be when we're more in our thinking mind. So allowing yourself to acknowledge, to have some space to allow what needs to arise from this practice. Being open to our intuitive self as well. And the practice that we're going to do towards the end, our Yoga Nidra practice, which we'll have about 20 minutes to do, will be an invitation once more to connect back with that intuitive self. But right now, just imagine you're creating a bit of space in yourself for that intuition to be welcome. So then when you feel ready, I'd like you to begin to just let your breath start to deepen a little. And as you begin to deepen, I want you to just begin to just maybe wiggle your fingers, maybe wiggle your toes, maybe have a little kind of move through the body in whatever way feels right for you. Stretching, definitely some yawning, a little bit of sighing. So those that are lying down, I want you to just take your time to come to one side, because we're going to start this morning's practice in a standing position, but I want you to just get there safely so you're not coming straight from the floor to being up. For those that feel ready to stand up, please do just gently make your way there. There's no rush, but do take your time. I'm going to suggest clearing your mat of anything that you might be able to trip up. And then come and stand with your feet just kind of a little bit wider than hip distance apart, and just slightly turning the feet out just a little bit. I'm going to suggest, if in the studio, Tim and Marion, you might just want to come forward just a little bit, because we're going to do a bit of arm swinging. So just be careful of things that you might clip. If you're at home, make sure there's no, antiques or anything around, anything that might be valuable. So we're just going to start off just standing tall, standing from the floor all the way up to the crown of the head. Just checking in with how the body feels, feeling into the toes, maybe give the toes a little wiggle. And feeling into the balls of the feet, maybe putting the weight into the balls of the feet. And then shifting lightly back into the heels. And just rocking back and forth a couple of times from the balls of the feet to the heels. And then this circle around on the feet. So we're just sort of moving the body around in a small circular fashion. So we don't really want to have to step to kind of rebalance ourselves. So we're not moving so far that we sort of have to lift our feet up at all. We're just circling around, just exploring how that feels, just to shift that weight from one side to the other, from the front to the back. And then we're going to circle in the other way. Brilliant. And then find a neutral position. So you're somewhere between the balls of the feet, the heels, the insides and the outsides of the feet. And let yourself just stand tall. And then have a very gentle bend of your knees. So just a kind of little bit of a softening of your knees. So when you feel ready, I want you to inhale and float your arms up to the ceiling. And as you exhale, you're going to exhale and release the arms down by your sides. So where we've got the knees bent, as you inhale, I want you to straighten the legs. And as you exhale, bend the knees and just soften down. So we're coming into a really tiny little squat. Inhale as you float the arms up, straightening the legs. Exhale as you float down, bend the knees. Just do that a couple more times. Big breath in and a big breath out. Big breath in and a big breath out. One more time. So we're going to reverse the action, but what we're going to do is add the sound OM with our inhalation, okay? So we're going to inhale as we take the arms up, Bring the palms together this time. And as you exhale, we're going to make the sound Om. Om. And bring the hands all the way down through the body. Bend the knees a little bit as we do that. So we're going to inhale as you reach up. Om. Inhale. Om. Do that twice more. As you're making that sound, imagine that that vibration is kind of sort of shaking out any tension or tightness out of the body. One more time. Oh. Just take a moment just to stand tall again. Just maybe noticing how that slight vibration might have shifted a little bit of energy. Sometimes it can just make you feel a little bit different in the body. And then we're going to shake up our energy in a different way. So first of all, we're going to start to move around in a circular fashion. So just with the upper body. So I want you to just let the arms just begin to just sort of find the way around the body. Keep your gaze looking ahead. And if you do find yourself, particularly when you turn around, if you find yourself getting a bit dizzy, you don't have to turn the head through any of this next little section at all. You can continue to look ahead. But if it feels okay, as you twist, you might want to turn your head and look in the same direction as the way that your arms are going. So again, if you find this difficult, keep looking ahead, or you might kind of turn the head and then find a spot to look at, which again can help. So you look over one shoulder at a spot and then over the other shoulder at a spot. So be a little bit looser now through the legs, bending the knees a little bit more, be a little bit looser through the arms. Imagine kind of all that stuff that we might have kind of picked up through the week that we've had. We're just kind of clearing the air around ourselves, but also clearing out the space within ourselves as well. And then what we're going to start to do, if it feels okay, is as you twist, you're going to lift the opposite foot up and you're going to twist yourself around into a slightly deeper twist. So this is where we start to get a little bit more momentum. So you do have to be a little bit careful of things that are around you or people that are around you. So just letting yourself just kind of do a few more of these. Complete body workout from the toes all the way up to the crown. I find when I'm doing this as well, I can't really think about a massive amount because you've got quite a lot going on. As I've said before, if you do it at home, people tend to avoid you as well. It's quite a good tactic. And then start to slow this movement down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, slow it down, and just come to stand back on your mat and just notice how that feels now, just to have kind of, we've changed that energy a little bit by that circling, by the breath, by doing something that we don't normally do at all. So just taking a moment just to let everything just settle. So some of you might have your feet a little bit wider. I'm going to suggest now just walk your feet in a little bit closer. So feet are roughly underneath the hip joints. We're going to bring our hands onto the back of our glutes. So kind of just below the glutes, sorry, just at the very top of the hamstrings. From here, we're going to take an inhalation, big breath, and lift up through the spine. As we exhale, bend the knees again and slide your fingertips all the way down the back of your leg, all the way to the calves, all the way to your heels. Bring your hands on your shins and inhale, lift away from your thighs and look up. Exhale, fold back over your legs. Let your head get really heavy here. Inhale, slide your hands all the way back up the back of the legs. And exhale the top. We're going to inhale again, big breath, get tall through the body. Bend the knees and fold from the waist as you slide down the legs. Hands on your shins, inhale as you look up. Exhale, fold back over the legs. Inhale, come all the way back up to stand. Exhale at the top. We're going to do one more of those and then add some arms in. So we're going to inhale again. Exhale as you fold forward, sliding down the back of the legs. Inhale as you look up, lift the abdomen off of the thighs. Exhale, let that head get really heavy. Inhale, come all the way back up to stand. And exhale at the top. So this time as we inhale, we're going to draw the arms wide and we're going to look up to the ceiling. As you exhale, we're going to fold forwards. Hands can either sweep out to the sides, or if you want to run them down the back of the legs, you can do. Inhale, hands on your shins, lift up, same way we did before. Exhale, fold back over those legs. This time, option to take the arms wide as we come up to stand. Look up to the ceiling. Exhale, float the hands back by your sides. So we're going to inhale again, float up, look up to the sky, lift the chest up. Exhale, fold forwards, bend the knees, hands to the shins or ankles. Inhale as we look up. Exhale, fold back over those legs. Inhale, come up to stand, gathering all that energy around ourselves. And exhale to release. Do one more, your own interpretation, your own way, what you can remember. Just exploring how that feels. So again, shift that bit of energy around the body, creating that bit of space around ourselves and floating down. Fantastic. Okay, so if you're at the back end of your mat, come and walk forwards towards the top end of your mat. Feet again want to be roughly hip distance apart. We're going to step our right leg back behind us, but try not to step behind your left foot as you do that. So ideally, we want our hips and our shoulders facing forwards. We're going to bend actually, we're going to do a couple of movements in and out of our warrior position, first of all, and then do a little bit on the upper back. So we're going to bend our front knee, and as we inhale, we're going to float the arms forwards, follow your fingertips up to the sky. As you exhale, bring the arms back by your sides and straighten that front leg. So you're pushing the floor away. Let's inhale again, bend that front knee, follow the fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale as we float down and push that floor away. Let's do that a couple more times. Just moving in and out. Okay, so this next time we're going to move into this warrior one position. So our knee is bent. We're going to bend the elbows, and I want you to bring the arms wide by your sides. Look towards your horizon. Take a big breath in and squeeze your shoulder blades together. As you exhale, close your forearms and hands. Inhale, big breath, squeeze those shoulder blades together. Exhale to close. Big breath in again to open, squeeze. Exhale to squeeze those forearms to close. Last time, big breath in. Exhale to close. Fantastic. Bring your hands either side of your front foot. If possible, step your front foot towards your back foot. Come into downward dog. Stretch through one heel, lift the other heel up, and then swap over. So you're just walking on the spot, stretching through the back of the calves, through the back of the ankles. If this is feeling a little bit too intense for you today, and you prefer to do something a little bit kinder to your body, you can always come down onto your knees and push one heel away, and then push the other heel away. So you've got the same action happening, just not being quite so inverted for those that don't wish to do that. Okay, we're going to come down onto our knees. And as we come down onto our knees, I want you to just reverse your bottom back in the direction of your heels, but we're not going all the way there. So you're going to go sort of halfway back towards your heels, and then bring your hands forward, and then bring your forehead, your head. So it's just going to sort of float between your arms. So we've got this stretch happening across the upper part of the back. The head is not on the floor, so it's just sort of hovering off the floor. We're pushing the floor away with our hands and with our palms. Couple of breaths into that upper part of the back. Fantastic. So when you feel ready, lift your head up, first of all, and then we're going to walk our hands forward so they're back underneath our shoulders. We stepped back with our right leg, so I'm going to invite you now to step forwards with your right foot. Hands either side of your right foot, tuck your left toes under, and step your left heel forwards enough that you can come back into that start position. So we swap the legs over. So again, if you've ended up being on a sort of tightrope, step the feet a little bit wider, make sure your toes, your hips, your shoulders are all kind of facing forwards. Arms are going to start off down by our side. We're going to bend our right knee this time, and as we inhale, float forward and look up to the sky. Exhale as we gently float ourselves back down, straightening that front leg. Inhale again, bend that front knee, follow those fingertips up to the ceiling. Exhale as we float back down. Let's do that a couple more times, just moving in and out of this sequence. Just exploring how that feels. And this next time, we're going to move into this warrior one position. We're going to drop our elbows either sides of our body, so a little bit like a goalpost. Take an inhale and squeeze those shoulder blades together. As we exhale, close the forearms and push the forearms and the hands together if you can. Inhale, open, squeeze shoulder blade. Exhale to close and squeeze again. Couple more times. It's a really useful thing to help with strengthening through the upper back, strengthening through the shoulders, strengthening through the chest area. Fantastic. So from here, we're going to bring our hands down either side of our front foot. If possible, we're going to step our front foot back to join our back leg. You might want to walk the feet out a little bit further. And then again, start to do that lifting and lowering of the heels. So we're just walking through those heels. And then rather than walking through the heels, you might want to have a little sway from side to side. So you just sway in your hips from side to side. Just exploring how that feels through the side body, through the waist area, through the hips. And then what I'd like you to do is come down onto your knees. As you come down onto your knees, take your bottom back towards your heels. Cross your forearms and bring your forehead onto your forearm. So we're just going to rest in this child's pose for a couple of moments. Just finding your breath, allowing yourself to go from that activity to that stillness within the body. And then what I'd like you to do is lift yourself back up to 4-point kneeling again. And we're going to come into Chakravanasana. So we've done this before, so I'm just going to demonstrate what the movement is. So we inhale, we lift our chest, our tails, and our eyes. As we exhale, we round the back, drawing the navel towards the back of the body, and we're going to sink the bottom back in the direction of our heels. Once we get there, we come all the way back up. So you haven't got to touch the heels at all. It might be that you just get halfway back towards those heels. But what we're going to do is on our exhalation, so as we're rounding back and going back onto the heels, we're going to go back to using that mantra Om again. Okay, so we'll do it a few times together, and then I'll let you just sort of go off on your own little journey with it for a while as well. So let's take an in-breath. Take an in-breath, looking ahead, chest, tail, and eyes lift. Without the on this time, just round the back and take the bottom back onto the heels, just so you get used to the movement. We're going to inhale again, lift ourselves back up, lifting chest, tail, and eyes. This time, let's incorporate the om. So as we go back, om. Inhale to lift yourself back up. Om. Let's repeat that 3 more times. Om. Really allowing that vibration to move through the body. Twice more. Om. Last time. Om. Again, cross the forearms. Bring your forehead to the floor, wherever feels comfortable for you. I want you to just continue to breathe in that same way that you've been breathing. So as you inhale, it's silent. As you exhale, I want you to silently repeat the mantra Om with your exhalation. So it's an internal vibration. So the sound Om is said to be representative of really our whole existence. It's said to represent the universe. And the sound is made up of 3 different sounds and a silence. So the R, the U, and the The R is said to represent birth. The U is said to represent our life. And the is said to represent kind of the end of that cycle. And then the silence as we go back to that repetition again. And like so much in yoga, like so much in life, in nature, there's a cycle with these things. So once you feel ready, I want you to push yourself out of child's pose, lift yourself up. Come and lie forwards on your fronts, please. We're going to turn our head towards the left-hand side. And I want you to bring your hands onto your lower back. So they're just going to rest against the back of your glutes. Separate your feet, particularly if you maybe struggle a little bit with your lower back and you find back bend's a little bit of a challenge. And then what we're going to do is we're going to inhale. We're going to lift our head off of the floor. We're going to turn it to the center. And then we're going to stretch our left arm forwards. Give ourselves a little salute above our left eyebrow. And then we're going to turn our head towards the right-hand side and bring that left hand back onto our lower back again. Then we're going to do exactly the same. So lift the head, turn it to the center. The right arm comes forwards. Little salute above the right eyebrow. And then turn the head off towards the left. So we're going to inhale as we lift. Salute with the left side. Exhale as you turn the head to the right. Left hand comes back. Swapping over, so you inhale, lift head, right arm, just a little salute. Exhale, turn the head to the left. So we're going to repeat that a couple more times. So this is a really useful thing to do to help to strengthen the erector spinae muscles. So basically the stabilizing muscles that run up the whole length of the back, from the glutes all the way up to the head. Let's do one more on each side. Again, it's one of those things, looks quite easy, but actually when you're doing it, there's actually quite a lot going on. It's quite hard. Fantastic. So let's turn our heads off to the left side again. We're going to bring our arms forwards and we're going to rest our forehead
this time upon our forearms. We're going to swap kind of the focus of what we're doing. So this time what I'd like you to do, if your feet are a bit wider, I want you to just bring them in a little bit closer. So they haven't got to be touching, but they're probably about hip distance apart. And then what I'd like you to do is lift your left leg off of the floor. So point your left toes and lift from your thigh all the way to your toes. Try not to bend your knee. Push your left toe away as far as you can do. And then as we exhale, we're going to lower that left leg down to the floor. We're going to inhale, lift our right leg, point those right toes as far as we can away. Exhale, lower that right leg down. Inhale, left leg, point. Exhale, lower. Inhale, right leg and point. Exhale, lower. Repeating that a couple more times. So you're using the strength of that left leg to raise and lower. Using the glute, using the quad, using the abdominal muscles. Try not to bend the knee as much as possible. Do one more on each side. Fantastic, brilliant. So hands either sides of your chest. Push yourself up all the way back onto your heels. Let's just have a little rock across the thighs from side to side this time. So we're just sort of rolling those visceral organs, the lower part of our digestive system, just rolling across those thighs. You might even roll the head as you roll those thighs from side to side. Fantastic, brilliant. So we're going to lift ourselves all the way back into our lying position again, back to where we started. And then what I'd like you to do here is stretch your arms all the way in front of you. And again, just separate your legs just a little bit. Now we're going to do opposite lifting. So we're going to lift our left arm and our right leg. So we're going to inhale, lift left arm, right leg. Exhale, lower back down. Inhale, right arm, left leg. Lift the head off the floor as you do that. Exhale to lower. Left arm, right leg again. Inhale to lift. Exhale to lower. Right arm, left leg. Exhale to lower. Repeat twice more on each side. So can anyone guess what's coming next? In a moment, we are going to channel our favourite superhero, hopefully one that flies through the sky. And we're going to lift arms and legs off of the floor. See if you can lift everything. Yeah, if it hurts your back, go back to doing alternates. Or if you need to come back, go back to child's pose. We're going to go there in a second anyway. Think about lifting away from the floor if you can do. Pointing those toes, stretching those arms forwards. And then when you've had enough, come down, push up and all the way back onto those heels again. Big stretch through the upper body. Counterposing those back bends that we've done with that forward fold. We're going to do a lateral stretch in this child's pose. So what I'd like you to do is take your big toes together, take your knees a little bit wider out to the side. So walk them a bit wider. And then we're going to walk ourselves off towards the left-hand side. So you're shifting your head, your hands. See if you can bring your right hand on top of your left hand and then push the floor away with both of those palms. And notice what that does to the right-hand side of your torso, the right-hand side of your rib cage. So we've got this lateral stretch working through those sides of the, or the right side of the body. into that right connective tissue of the rib cage and the waist. Then we're going to come back to our center point. Move the head back to the center. Take a breather in the center. And then let's walk over towards the right-hand side. So you're shifting the head, the hands, bringing the left hand on top of the right hand. And again, push those palms away. Even draw your hips slightly away from your hand. So again, you've got this slight sense of lengthening or elongation and a sense of stretch through the left-hand side of your body. In that abdominal area of getting a gentle squeeze, the lower back will be having a nice stretch there as well, hopefully. Brilliant. And then we're going to come back to our center point, walking head, walking the hands back. Let's now push into our hands, walk ourselves up towards our knees. We're going to bring our knees back together again and then swing our legs around. And we're going to come and lie on our backs. So bring your bottom first round about the center of your mat. Lower yourself onto your back. What I'd like you to do here is bring your feet and your thighs and your knees together so they're touching. You're going to cross your right thigh over your left thigh. Now, some of you might find that you find it really easy to take your right foot underneath the back of your left ankle. Not something my body can do very well, but if you find it easy, please do that. Then you're going to drop your knees, both of them, over towards your left-hand side in this cross-legged position, and then stretch your right arm out to the side, and then turn your head and look towards your right palm, your right hand. So we've got this twist happening across the right-hand side of the torso. So particularly, you'll probably feel it around the hip area, maybe around that right glute. Some of you might even find with your left hand, you might want to place it on your right knee, and you might even want to bring those knees over a little bit more towards that left-hand side. Just depends on how flexible or how movable you are through that lower back and hip area. So when you feel ready, bring the head back to the center. Let's uncross the legs from that position and then gently bring them back up to the center as well. So back to where we started. You might find yourself just being over to the left side a little bit. So you might just sort of need to adjust through the body. Again, bringing the feet together, knees, thighs together. Going to cross the left thigh over the right this time. And again, if you can sort of hook the left foot underneath the right calf, feel free to do that as well. And then we're going to drop both the knees off towards our right-hand side. So our left hand, we're going to stretch it along the floor out at chest height, and then turn your gaze and look towards that left hand. And then if you want to use that right hand to maneuver that left leg over a little bit more towards that right side, you can do. So again, just allowing yourself to just find that place where you're getting that sense of stretch through the left side of the body, through the left side of the waist, but without causing yourself too much stress or tension or having to force yourself in any way at all. And then when you feel ready, we're gently going to bring the head back to the center, uncross the legs, bring the legs back to the center as well. So I'm going to give you a couple of options here. You might find you want to stretch your legs away.
Reach your arms overhead and take a full body stretch. You might find you want to hug your knees up in towards your body and take a little rock across your back or even around on your back. Fantastic. So from here, what I'd like you to do, bring your feet onto the floor. We're going to roll over onto one side and then gently push yourself up. And what I'd like you to do, we're going to do some breathing before coming into a slightly longer relaxation. So I want you to first of all make sure that you're going to be warm enough. So do put some layers on. If you've got socks or a jumper, there's some extra blankets if anyone wants an extra blanket to put over them. We're going to be sitting for about 10 minutes. So I want you to make sure that you're sitting comfortably as well. So please feel free to use a wall, use a chair, use whatever feels right and comfortable for you. Again, you haven't got to sit cross-legged. You can sit however feels comfortable for you to be. Would anyone like another blanket at all? Anyone else? No. So the breathing practice again is just going to involve some sound, and what we're going to do is allow the different break up or break sort of different sounds of the mantra Om. So we're going to bring our hands to our lower part of our abdomen. So just sort of resting your hands on the navel or just below the navel and making contact with that abdominal area. And then the sound that we're going to make is going to be an R sound. So we're going to breathe in through the nose and just make an R sound, a bit like if you're going to the dentist. R. Breathe in again. R. Repeat that 3 more times. Again, we're directing that vibration to that lower abdominal area. Just take a moment just to let yourself just pause, reflecting on how that lower abdominal area feels. Sending that vibration, that R sound, the sound within that mantra that relates to creation or birth, where things come from. And we're going to bring our hands onto the center of our chest. So you just lightly resting the hands at that chest center, relaxing the shoulders. The sound that we're going to make is an ooh sound. So we're going to breathe in. Ooh. Ooh. directing that sound towards the center of the chest. Ooh. 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 Just pausing and just reflecting on that sense of vibration at the chest center. Acknowledging that, the heart really is kind of the beating center of our life. Now we're just going to move the hands up just a little bit further. So haven't got to sort of cause any distress around the neck at all. You're just lightly resting the hands at the throat center. So just crossing the hands over the neck. And the sound that we're going to make is an sound. So breathe in. Directing that vibration to the throat. Just reflecting on the vibration at that throat area. To represent kind of the maturity of ourselves, the wisdom. And what we're going to do is just bring the hands back down on your knees or on your thigh. We're going to repeat those sounds, so ah, oo, all together. And then at the end of the I want you to just reflect on the eyebrow center and silence. It's almost as though that silence represents the change back to the start of the ah, oo, and silence again. There's that cycle. Let's breathe in. Ah, oo. Just pause in there. Just feeding into all of those different parts of yourself. And the foundation of our kind of roots and the compassion in our heart. the wisdoms in our mind. And that connection with the silence that takes that cycle back round again. Like the seasons, like the cycle of life and death, everything around us and within us. And then when you feel ready, I'd like you to keep your kind of energy quite inwards if possible. Come and lie or rest in whatever way feels best for you. If you prefer to continue to sit, you can sit. So as you begin to let yourself settle, shifting or moving the body in any way that you need to, be aware of those surfaces beneath us that are supporting or holding us. And then allow yourself to tune back in again. You might even notice that vibration is still just gently happening around or within you in some way. So taking some time just to check how the toes are, all of the toes, and relaxing all of the toes. Relaxing both of your feet, the tops and the soles of the feet. Relaxing the heels and the ankles. Relaxing the shin bones and the calf muscles. Relaxing the knees, the front, the side, the back of the knee. Relaxing the thighs, the front, the back, the inner and the outer thigh. Relaxing both of your hips. Relaxing both sides of your waist. The left and the right sides of your rib cage. Relaxing both of your under armpits. Relaxing both of your shoulders. Relaxing your upper arms, both elbow joints, your lower arms. Relaxing both of your wrists, the palms of the hands and the backs of the hands. Relaxing both of your thumbs and all of your fingers. Drawing your attention to the back of your body. Relaxing both of your buttocks. Relaxing the back of your pelvis, your lower back. Relaxing the mid back, the shoulder blades, the upper back. Relaxing the back of the neck, the back of the head, the top of the head. Relaxing the forehead. Relaxing both of your eyes, both of your ears, both your cheeks, relaxing your nose, your mouth, your tongue, your throat. Relaxing both of your collarbone. Relaxing the front of your chest. Relaxing the front of your ribs, the upper abdomen, your navel, lower abdomen, your pelvic bowl. Relaxing the whole of your body. Relaxing the whole of your body. Allowing the whole of your body to feel at ease, to feel it. Allow you just a few minutes where you can just rest in this quietness. If you find it uncomfortable, you might want to turn your attention just to your breath. Maybe just observing the breath as it comes, as it goes. If you find you need something more to do with your mind, maybe just as you're breathing in, you say kindly to yourself, I am breathing in. And as you breathe out, you say kindly to yourself, I am breathing out. I'd invite you now to draw your attention to maybe that place or that awareness, that space that we created that maybe relates to your intuition. So for some people, it kind of is a really obvious place. From a yoga tradition, it's normally sort of suggested around that energetic heart center. But I'd like you to allow yourself just to rest your attention wherever you associate your intuitive wisdom to be. Allow yourself just to hold your attention there. For some people, it can also help to maybe place the hand on that part of yourself, just to connect in a slightly different way. But from this place of stillness, this place of rest, this place of healing, this place of love and support for yourself, allow yourself to just be open to whatever your intuitive wisdom, your inner teacher, your guiding light, however you like to think of it. What you may need to know, what you may need to let go of. What would be useful to allow you to feel closer to that true version of yourself. That innate wisdom that's within each and every one of us. And what I would like you to do is just very gently, very slowly, just begin to start to allow yourself to just gently move, to breathe a little bit differently, to stretch, yawn, sigh. For those that may have been lying, I'm going to invite you to just roll gently to one side. Spend a little bit of time on your side, or if you've been on your side, maybe covering your back. Whenever you are ready, we're going to bring ourselves up into a seat that feels comfortable for you.
And what I'd like you to do is bring your hands together into Amanjali Mudra. And again, we're going to use the Om mantra in a slightly different way. So we're going to say the mantra or produce the mantra in the way that we have been doing it through the class. But as we're saying the mantra, we're going to let our hands gently sort of come out. And it's as though we're sort of sending that energy in a sort of bubble all around ourselves, which is guided by our hands. And we're going to inhale and bring the hands back to our heart center. So we'll give it a little practice, see how we get on. So we're going to take an in breath. Inhale, bring the hands back to the center. Practice that again. Inhale to the center. We're going to do this again and send this to ourselves. Send this next one to each other. Send this next one to our wider communities. Send this next one to maybe people we don't know, but that might be suffering as well. Bring the hands back together. Just repeat Om silently 3 times without the hand. Direct it to your gut, direct it to your heart, direct it to your mind, direct it to your crown, your eyebrow. Once you've finished those 3 times, you might want to just let the hands rest on the knees or in the thighs. Just taking a moment just to reflect on how you are, how you feel. How the use of these ancient mantras can subtly but also quite significantly change what's going on or allow us to become more clearer about what's important. To allow yourself to just kind of remember, store in that memory bank this sensation, those things that might have come up for you. And reminding ourselves when we do go into those times of darkness, times of despair, times when we're struggling, there's this innate wisdom within us all that we can connect with. And sometimes we just need to shift and move and vibrate a little bit to reconnect with it. And essentially that's what the yoga practice was for, to find our inner wisdom. To bring our hands back together into Amanjali Mudra. Om Shanti. Thank you, everybody, for your time. A little bit more spiritual than what I thought we were going to go, so it's quite nice to delve into some of that stuff, isn't it? It's very, the yoga practice is, is so rich in so much of this information that is so
or misunderstood by us. And, you know, they use these sounds and these vibrations that have been around since humans first existed to connect with ourselves and then, you know, connect and communicate with each other. And that's all that it is. All we are is vibration. Everything around us is vibration, you know, and actually it's just about allowing ourselves to tune out the vibration that we don't need and tune into the stuff that we do need, because we live in a world now where there's so much external vibration and we feel so pulled out of ourselves that when we come back in, it can feel quite discombobulating and quite a difficult place to be. But once you start to get, at least a practice, once you start to get used to it, it gets easier. And then you start to hear this stuff or feel this stuff or know these things. And you just think, you know what, that isn't right for me anymore, or I need to move away from this stuff, or this is where I need to be in this moment. And it really lets you start to just become much more intuitive and instinctive within yourself, but in a really kind way. It's really about this kindness and this taking care of yourself. And by doing that, then you're able to take care of others. If we continue to take care of others and not ourselves, we just deplete ourselves, you know, and we're not listening to our intuitive wisdom, you know. Thanks, everyone. Any questions? Feel free to ask. Thank you, Mary and Mum and Dad.
Thank you, Daniel, and I will see you next week. No, I won't see you Tuesday.